Retail Boss here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Listen, we're getting ready to be talking about all things texture when it comes to wigs. So I need you to click that subscribe button. I need you to click that notification bell so that you get all of my YouTube videos, because I'm going to be giving y'all all of my secret hacks to how I texturize wigs and also all the products that are in my retail bag. Y'all ready? So today's class, we're going to be talking about how to retexturize a wig that already comes either curly or wavy, but is losing its texture, is losing its curl pattern. You want to spice up the curls, you want to make the curls more defined. You don't want to get rid of the wig, but it's looking a little limp and you need to give it some life. So what I'm going to be doing today on this beauty right here, I don't know if you guys can, hopefully you guys can see her. As you can tell, her hair is pretty much wavy. This wig is wavy, but the front part is kind of losing its wave a little bit. It doesn't really look bad, but my client wants this wig to be converted to a curly wig. So we're gonna take her from wavy to curly. Y'all ready? So let's first talk about product. What type of product you need. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I am a licensed cosmetologist, so I'm not a YouTuber telling you information that I don't have scientific research about. I am actually licensed, a licensed cosmetology instructor. I've been in the beauty industry well over 20 years. Matter of fact, coming up on 25 years. And I absolutely love what I do. So I'm bringing you factual information. If you are not a licensed professional, can you still do these techniques? Absolutely, you can. So I just want you to get it straight from me as a professional. One of the things that you're going to need is first a deep cleansing shampoo. This particular product that I'm using, you can use any deep cleansing shampoo. It doesn't matter the brand. You just want to make sure that it's either deep cleansing or clarifying, and it will say it on the bottle. This bottle particularly says clarifying shampoo. So the first thing you want to do is wash the wig with a clarifying shampoo. I'm going to show you guys how I wash my wigs. It's a step that I do that is really important, and it keeps your wigs from mangling and tangling and you're just stuck with a hot mess. So I'm going to show you how I go about doing that, okay? Then you're going to need your perming product. I use this particular brand by Joico. It's called K-Pack Waves. This is an extra body perm solution. So in this box is going to come all the chemical products that you're going to need to make this process go through smooth and quick and easy. The main part that's going to take you time is wrapping the actual perm. So because I know I want to give her extra body and I want her to be nice and tightly curled, I decided to use this particular one is for normal resistant, fine limp, or tinted or highlighted hair up to 40%. So this wig has already been colored. She's been darkened. So I use a permanent color on her to darken her, because of course when these hairs come, they come in a dark brown or like a medium brown. So my client wanted me to color her black, so she has been colored with permanent color. So this particular perm would work well for this hair because it's already been previously treated with some type of chemical, okay? So that's why you want to use that type. And this is actually an acid perm. And the reason why I chose acid, and I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I'm taking y'all back to school real quick if you know as a cosmetologist, but we know that when we are mixing and formulating color, that color has an acidic chemical in it that allows it to do what it does. So I decided I wanted to use something that was along the same lines on the pH scale to make sure that I just have a nice even balance and I don't destroy the hair. Anything that's more alkaline, there are some perms that are alkaline that are still safe for tinted hair, but this is the particular brand that I chose to use, okay? Then let's talk about all the tools that you need. First things first, you're gonna need some end papers. Good old end papers. And I know you might be thinking, who is out here still using end papers? But baby girl, let me let you know right now, when you go to wrap these perms, if you do not have end papers, you're going to have a very, very, very hard time trying to get the hair to wrap around the rods. Speaking of rods, I'm gonna be using some flexi rods, and I'm also going to be using some white perm rods. Why am I using two different types of tools to make this happen? Well, one reason is because in the front, I want to get it as tight to the scalp or as tight to the cap as I possibly can. But these are actually one and the same. They're just two different tools, but they are the same diameter. So if you can see that, you see that they are the same diameter. So that means I'm gonna get the same curl pattern. This is just gonna be so I can get tighter to the scalp. And I'm also gonna show you a piggybacking technique that I'm gonna use. Because the hair is so long, I'm going to need to double stack the rods. I'm gonna show you how to do that. What's next? Next thing you're gonna need are clips. Why do you need clips? Because you need to section the hair. When you section the hair properly, you have more control. You can move quicker when you're wrapping. It keeps all the unwanted hairs out the way that you are not wrapping at the moment. So that is why you want to make sure you have clips. Clips are always going to be for control. Next, detangling items. Why do I need these types of tools? One, before I shampoo the hair, I'm gonna make sure I comb through and get out any of the tangles, any of the knots, all of that. You wanna make sure it's detangled. And then once it's detangled and it's been shampooed, when I bring it back, I'm gonna need to brush through it with what I call a wet brush. Okay, this particular wet brush works well for all hair textures. The bristles are really soft. The ends have little balls on them. I don't know if you guys can see that. But those little balls keep you from snagging the hair, okay? So you wanna make sure you use that type of a detangling brush. Now you might say, well, isn't that the same thing as a paddle brush? Not necessarily. These bristles are really, really thin. So it's going to allow you to glide through the hair a lot easier. Most of your paddle brushes, the bristles are thicker. They still have the balls, but the bristles are thicker. And those are mainly used for blow drying and things of that nature. But this one is just a little bit different. And you might be thinking, well, what brand is that? This particular brand I'm using is Framar, which is a professional product line, but you guys can look them up on Instagram. I'm sure they're on YouTube somewhere as well, but they are for professionals. So this is the type of brush that I am using. Also, you want to make sure that you have rat tail combs. Doesn't matter what type of rat tail comb you have. No, it doesn't. The ones that have the metal on the end, most of the time use those for highlighting, but I find it easier when I'm wrapping a perm to pick up the hair a little bit easier because the ends are really thin. Can you use a regular rat tail comb? You absolutely can. So I always just keep a couple in case I drop one, because we know sanitation is big when it comes to state boards. So you want to make sure that you are following all safety procedures as well. You will also need a spray bottle. And again, pay no mind, but this particular brand, like I said, professional product line, so they also provide these type of tools as well. So you can look up Framar, but I am using, I like this water bottle because it kind of sprays with control versus your old school water bottle that's just kind of sprays everywhere. This gives you the right amount of water, the right amount of control, and it does it in a mist. And I just absolutely like that. But again, that's just my own personal preference. You're also going to need towels. Make sure that you have some hand towels because you're going to have to towel blot when doing a perm. And you guys are going to see how I do this because everything is set up in procedure. So what I'm going to end up doing is shampooing her off camera, but I'll show you guys my technique, how I do it, what I do, when I do, and all those good things. And I'm also gonna take her off of the mannequin head and put her on the canvas head. And you guys can see I have one right here. And the reason why I'm gonna put her on a canvas head is because I know the product is gonna run, it's gonna, you know, kind of go everywhere. And I also wanna make sure that it is fitting the shape of my client's head, because when you are using chemicals, you can still change what's underneath. So in the front of this particular wig is a frontal. So because it's a frontal, and I'm gonna go ahead and just take her off. So because it's a frontal, this lace will stretch. So that is an important thing for you guys to know. This lace will stretch. So I'm going to put her on the canvas head, which is the same size as my client's head. That way, as I'm doing this chemical, if there's any type of chemical reaction that may happen with the lace is going to be on the right foundation. That way it doesn't loosen up and end up being too big for my client, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys how I shampoo. We're gonna go off camera and then I'm gonna come right back. So I hope you're ready. See you in a minute. All right, guys, we are back. So now I'm going to show you guys what she looks like wet. Doesn't look bad at all. But when your clients want to change up their curl pattern versus them buying new hair, you can just use the old hair that they have, the old wigs that you've already created, even if it's straight, and you can still change the texture from straight to curly, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and put her on the foam head, and as you hear, I keep saying her because that's just what we do as women when it comes to our wigs. And you're going to need T-pins, okay? T-pins, or even the pins with the little ballies on them. I don't know if you guys can see that you can get from the craft store. You can use those too. I use them all. I think the T-pins are stronger than the ones with the balls on the end. And because I know I'm going to be doing a whole lot of manipulation, I want to make sure that I have strong pins on my wig, okay? So if you notice, I made sure I lined it up with the middle, that line that's in the middle of your cork head. That is basically telling you that's the middle to where like the bridge of the nose and all that stuff will be. So I just always line it up. Is it real important? I guess so, because this is your client's head, so I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just clip this back up real quick. And I'm gonna pin it all the way around because like I said, I'm gonna be doing a lot of manipulating of this head. So I just wanna make sure that it's nice and secure. So what you wanna do is kind of pull it down, find the base of the cap, and then stick in your T-pin, okay? So with all of that being said, I'm gonna make sure that I put one on both sides and one in the middle, and you can just kind of feel that on your own, okay? So the next step is going to be to towel blot. So this towel is kind of wet because I already brought her from being shampooed. So now I'm just gonna make sure that I get as much of that excess water out as I possibly can. And I decided that I'm going to do what is called a curvature perm. So that means the technique that I'm using is going to be curved, and that's going to give it more body, it's going to give it more movement. And I don't know if you guys know anything about curvature perms, if you went to cosmetology school in terms of how to do that. You're basically going to be putting your perm rods in opposite direction each row. So one row is gonna go to the right, the next row is gonna go to the left, all the way up the head, okay? And the reason for that, like I said, is to give the hair more movement. It's not super structured. So your normal perm set, if you take it back to school, is normally 9 sections. So we're not gonna do the 9 section, and I'm not gonna do a brick lay. you could do that, but the reason why I'm choosing not to is because I want that flow. I want the hair to flow, I want the hair to move and have a lot of bounce in body and movement. When you use the other two techniques, they're a little bit more structured, so you might not have as much, no, not you might, you won't have as much movement that you're looking for. So that's the reason why I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm getting ready to section her so I can show you guys what the sectioning actually looks like, okay? Hold tight. All right, guys, so now we're getting ready to start wrapping the perm. So I showed you earlier that I was sectioning the wig just to make sure that I have full control over everything that I'm doing. So I've already dropped out the bottom section, this middle section here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I kind of split the front up because I know I'm gonna have to do something a little bit different up there. This section right here in the top is a little bit larger, but I'll probably make it a little smaller as I move up and start wrapping. But you always wanna make sure that with your curvature perm, you're gonna start at the back bottom nape section, okay? So it's already been detangled and we're ready to go. So I don't want to make sure I forget to remind you guys about using cotton around the outer perimeter before you put on your perm solution, and then also a couple of plastic caps because I am using different size rods. The cap that is in this box is not going to fit. So let me go ahead and open this up and show you what this actually looks like. And again, this is K-Pack by Joico, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what this actually looks like on the inside, like what's in here. And make sure you follow manufacturer's instructions. I've been doing this for so long, I just know what to do. Excuse me. So the first thing that's gonna be in here is your waving lotion, okay? Your neutralizer, and also your activator, okay? So this activator and the waving lotion, once you mix these two together, then it makes the perm solution active, okay? So you always wanna just make sure that you follow manufacturer's instructions with that. It comes with a plastic cap. Oops. It comes with a plastic cap, and they normally are like a square shape, which I may still use this, but I know I'm gonna need some of these. And I wanna also make sure I catch all the solution from dripping because it is gonna drip while it sits and waits for the time a lot that it says that it's supposed to be for, and this one is gonna be for 20 minutes, okay? So this does come on the inside. And then again, if you were to open this whole box, and I don't wanna open it because I wanna do something with it, you're gonna follow all the manufacturer's instructions, which is written on the inside of the box. You will also need some scissors to cut the tips off in order for you to squirt on the solution and get it fully saturated and get a nice even flow, okay? So first things first, I'm going to get my end papers. And with your end papers, I do a little trick. I just take my comb and you just wanna twist, 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 twist like that until it separates all the papers for you so they're easy for you to pick up one by one. Or you can get you a little box for the papers that they have one that kind of like allows it to be like a pop-up top. You can do something like that as well. Either way, you're good. You wanna make sure you keep your water bottle handy because as you're wrapping, you're gonna need to keep the hair somewhat wet. It doesn't have to be fully saturated, but it needs to be somewhat wet so that you can wrap all the hairs in the rods, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm probably gonna speed this up and do a lot of this like off camera and then come back in once I'm halfway done. I may even speed this up just so y'all can kind of see me wrapping, but I'm gonna show you guys real quick. I'm gonna start back here, like I said, in this back section. So I'm gonna take about an inch section, about an inch, and she's still pretty wet so I don't have to wet her. And I want to make sure that I take my end paper and I'm going to do what's called book end. Book end is when you fold it in half. So I'm going to do book end, and I'm going to pull it all the way out. And I'm going to go all the way to the end, and you can spray a little water on it. Ooh, what are we doing? What are we doing? There we go. Just to dampen it, and it's still spraying. I love that spray bottle because it just keeps misting for you. And now you want to take your rod and you want to go all the way, pull all the way to the end of the end paper and the hair, and you want to start wrapping. Okay, so why am I wrapping this vertical versus horizontal is because I want the curls to have a drop effect, almost like a spiral curl. You don't have to do it like that. You can do it horizontal. But like I said, I want to have a nice flow, and I want this hair to be bouncing and moving and swinging, and I want those curls to drop because this is something that I know that my client wants, but you can gauge it depending on your client. So I'm going to be doing this wrap for probably, it's going to take me about a good 20 minutes to do. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, and I'm going to come back on and let you guys see what I look like halfway through. And then when I get ready to switch off to using the other rods, I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. Okay, so be back in a moment.